Welcome back to the channel. And we're smoking on my dragons, divine, righteous, almighty, greats, overachieving, never slacking. Today we got 500,000, not five, not 50, not 500, 500,000 Christmas lights. Invasion of the Christmas lights. And this took place in Germany. And this video was actually about 8 years old, but man, when you do something this spectacular and this massive, it'll last a lifetime. So, with that being said, original link will be in the description. Hopefully, I feel a little better than I do today. That did too much on that leg press. Feeling that soreness like crazy today. But hey, we don't stop. We keep going. So, with that being said, here we go.
2 hours south of Hamburg, in Germany's Farm Belt, you'll find Buchen. In its center, this church, built in 882.
Let me just say, Germany, just the sound of that, Germany's Farm Belt, that just sounds like it's got so much hidden gems out there. Like just freedom. That's what it sounds like to me. The Farm Belt in Germany. I like that.
Hamburg, in Germany's Farm Belt, you'll find Buchen. In its center, this church, built in 882. And just 2 minutes down the road is this house. It belongs to the Votes. Rolf, a 64-year-old truck driver by trade, does most of the decorating. David is Rolf's son, and he helps with the lights. And this is Rolf's wife, Nerman. She's David's mom and maker of the tastiest bratwurst and fries ever.
Ich heiße Rolf Vogt. Ich habe das schönste Weihnachtshaus in Deutschland und in ganz Europa. So liege ich jetzt bei 420.000 Lichter.
Sheesh.
Tendenz steigend.
Yep, 420,000. That's nearly 500,000 lights.
Ist, dass ich bis zu 1 Million Lichter hinkomme. Unbedingt will ich dahin.
Having spent $100,000 over the last 10 years on the lights, Rolf has a...
What? 100K? Let's see, I ever seen the movie Deck the Halls? This is like that movie Deck the Halls. If you haven't watched that, I definitely recommend go tune in for the holidays. Watch that this year. This is like the movie Deck the Halls.
can't-fail plan to double the display size.
Nicht mal Glück habe, sollte im Lotto zu gewinnen oder so.
Rolf starts working in early August and spends 8 or 9 hours each weekend day,
Jeez.
even when the temperature reaches freezing, like it is today. And like every artist, Rolf knows art is solitary work.
Usually my dad wants to set up all the display by himself because he has his own ideas.
Haben mich auch viele Leute gefragt, ob ich irgendwie einen Plan hätte, wie ich das aufbaue und so, weil das eben auch so schön zusammenpasst und so, weil das kommt alles so frei aus dem Kopf raus.
Yep, no plans, no designs, just the vision of one man with little regard for his own safety. And while Rolf loves David's help, he won't compromise his artistic vision.
One time I made a big writing, kind of Merry Christmas. And it took me maybe 4 hours. And afterwards, he looked at it and said something like, I don't know, it doesn't look really good.
And if you thought these two seemed too comfortable in such cold weather, here's their trick. Along with the design and setup, Rolf does all the wiring too. He even built this power grid.
Ralph, so much electricity and wires and plugs. Is it safe?
Let me see. I adore the fact that he's an honest man. He's not someone who's gonna try to manipulate it. He's an honest man. I respect that much for sure. And he does what he wants to do, what's in his heart, which is Christmas lights, hey.
Because his display is so vast, Rolf invested in a state-of-the-art security system.
Sarah, hier. Sarah. Sitz.
And despite Rolf and David's
I'm a Rottweiler man, but I love those German Shepherds, if those are German Shepherds.
best efforts to convince the dogs there was danger, they wouldn't buy it.
Oh, yeah, definitely German Shepherds.
Ganz langsam, du hast Zeit.
Of all the questions Rolf gets from visitors, the most common is, how do you get up in the trees?
Klettern die Bäume bis in die Spitze oben rein, ohne Probleme.
While climbing 40 feet up without a safety harness isn't a problem for Rolf, it is for someone else.
No, my mom won't come out. She's too scared of seeing my dad so high up in the trees.
Meine Frau kommt.
And yet sometimes Mama just can't seem to stay away.
Das ist doch zu dünn, diese sind die.
Ja, wie soll ich denn sonst?
She doesn't want him to climb this special tree, and she just waits for a cry like, help, I fell down or something like that.
Ich gehe ganz nach hinten.
No need to translate. She's probably saying something about him not getting any more French fries.
Oh,
Oh, nö, nein, nein, nein. Das ist kein Spaß mehr.
As the calendar gets closer to Christmas, you can find Rolf working well into the dark of night to finish decorating.
Sometimes I think my dad went crazy with the lights because the endurance he has, the constitution, although he is already 64
It's impressive. Hands down. Nobody could take that. That's impressive.
years old.
And
Wait,
like
hold
all
on,
Christmas
hold on.
holiday nights,
Hold on. How old is he?
64 years old because the endurance he has, the constitution, although he is already 64 years old.
and like all Christmas holiday nights, Rolf and his family are soon set to play host to more than 100 neighbors, hungry for an extravaganza of light and grilled meat.
I always sit there and think, wow, where does that energy come from? I mean, I'm not half that age. I could never have so much energy for just one thing. Und rüber.
And that's what makes it impressive. That's what is just the fact to see somebody that passionate about anything. I mean, he could have been breeding dogs and had the same passion, and it would have, been super successful. Just the ambition behind it. I mean, whoa, 64 years old. He must come from, I don't know, maybe in the spirit world, he's from a Christmas world. Like, remember Nightmare Before Christmas? That Christmas world? Maybe that's his real world when he leaves Earth or something, and he's just doing something that's reminiscent of it. Maybe that's why he's so passionate about it. But either way, it's incredible.
When you've got 420,000 lights, you need a big room to keep them. But this wasn't always the storage room.
I used to live here for 2 years, and then I left, came back. Suddenly my room changed into a storage room.
David now lives in a much smaller room in the house. And when Dad needs more storage space, well,
Wenn ich die Wahl hätte, wer hier bleibt, die Weihnachtssachen oder David in dem großen Raum? Ja, ich würde schon sagen, meine Weihnachtssachen bleiben hier und David müsste dann sehen, dass er sich irgendwo anders einnistet.
as the sun dips below the horizon in this quiet corner of the German countryside, Nerman fires up the Bratwurst grill and deep fryer, while Rolf and David play hosts to the dozens who have filled their party tent and come to marvel at the most wunderbar light show in Germany. And maybe all of Europe, too. After 3 months of near solitary work and close to 500,000 lights, Rolf's home in Buchen is certainly Germany's biggest residential display. And it could be Europe's, too.
Das Schönste ist, wenn alles fertig ist, aber das ganze Aufbauen, das macht Spaß. Von Anfang bis Ende ist Freude dabei. Sonst könnte ich das gar nicht machen.
the passion that you have to be able to achieve something like that, to be able to do something like that every year. I mean, you can't fake certain stuff. It's just like, I'll tell you this much. Once again, if you ever seen the movie Death the Halls, let me look up the actors real quick that was in that. Very, very good movie. See, I grew up off those early, mid 2000s movies. They had a lot of good ones that came out around that time. See, this Deck the Halls is from 2006, back when I was in fifth, sixth grade. Danny DeVito and Matthew Broderick. So in that movie, Danny DeVito and Matthew, they're neighbors that are competing to have the best, brightest lights around, and they just keep bumping heads, and they're in this big competition. They are lucky that this guy was not around, because this German guy would have put everybody to shame. That is a fact. He, I'm just honestly, it's just you got certain people in this world that when they leave this world, they leave such a mark where it's like if his story was told just by word, let's say there was no video proof or anything like that, it would be hard to believe. You know, it would sound like exaggeration. Like, yeah, I knew this guy that he would set up 500,000 lights, and it was so bright. I mean, everybody came out to see. People would think like, yeah, sure, I'm sure he put up a lot, but 500,000 is crazy. No, really, he started in like August, and he, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, if there wasn't, this is one of those things where if there wasn't video proof, yeah, people would question it like crazy. So shout out to him. Shout out to Germany. Clearly, I've got some very special people out there. But with that being said, original link in the description. See, I thought I was doing something with these little lights right here, in the back of me. I thought I was doing something, but nope, not at all. If you enjoyed this video, definitely don't hesitate to hit that like, that subscribe, that notification bell, and I'll be back more soon. Much love.